I think a lot of people live their life through social media. Don't you think?
100%, yeah.
I think, and again, like depending, like I know I was guilty of this when I was younger. Like I would determine my self-worth and my validation on how many likes I'd get on a photo.
Yeah, same.
Not
100%.
now, like
But when you're younger, when
I've
you see
matured
it,
and I've
yeah,
got
of
older.
course,
But
yeah.
I remember when I was younger, like early 20s, like my internal self-worth, and my would be based on the validation that I'd get through social media. Now I generally don't give a fuck. Like I'll post every single day, and whether it does well or not, it is what it is. I don't measure my self-worth based on what social media perceives.
Yeah.
I measure my self-worth on how hard I work, how much I do for other people, and the actual genuine social connections that I have with people like yourself and Dan and my partner and all my friends.
Yeah.
That's how you should measure your self-worth, not through social media or through Instagram.
Yeah, I think I think it's almost like putting a number on how popular you are or how much attention you might get, and or how many people love you. But in reality, nobody's going to love you unless you love yourself. But that's part of growing up, though, I think, innit? I think you don't start to... you are sometimes a little bit naive in thinking that the be-all and end-all is how many people are looking at what you're doing, or how many people are calling you, or how many people want to do things with you, but reality has nothing to do with that, is it, really?
Like I know certain people that have got hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, and they're the loneliest people you ever meet. They don't have any genuine connections. Like I'd be happy today without social media to keep the genuine connections that I have, my best friends and my family. I'd be happy for the rest of my life. But some people, unfortunately, their whole life, their identity is the direct identity of what their social media platforms is. And like their self-worth is measured on how many likes they get and how many followers they've got. And it's so sad because it's so bad for your mental health.
It's crazy how bad it is.
Social connection is so much more important for your mental health than social media or your identity that's attached to it. And I've said this so many times. If I had the opportunity of going on Instagram for 4 hours or scrolling through TikTok, and somebody said for the next 4 hours you can either do that or you can spend it with your brother, which one would you do? No brainer.
It's not even a thought, is it?
It's not even a question, is it?
Not even a question.
But unfortunately, so many people now, even when you're in someone else's presence, and I think we're all guilty of it, we're sat scrolling for hours.
Yeah.
We don't even be present with the person that we're sat next to. But when that person's gone, you'll be kicking yourself.
Yeah. I think it's a lot to do with, obviously, because what we're doing now, obviously I'm sort of doing the similar sort of thing. We're always trying to find that little bit of engaging content that, you know, the consumer likes. Because we're always trying to find that, I feel like we're always trying to correlate that between what we see and then what we put out. We're trying to find the best thing to put out, so we've got to try and find it sometimes.
Yeah, and that requires you being on social media.
That requires you being on it all the time.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know whether you are finding it in that case. You're not. You're just wasting quite a lot of time. But like I said, I'm guilty of it. We're all very guilty of it, aren't we?
Oh man, like I'll bang on about going on social media and stuff like that, but like I'm not one for going out as much anymore, and I'd rather just chill on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just find yourself just aimlessly scrolling through it, and it happens. But like you've made a good point. If your life is sort of on Instagram, and because you're a marketing agency like you are, you're gonna find yourself on there probably more than you should. But I think what I would do in that situation is, or what I do is, I just have a time limit where I'll spend it on a evening. I'll find a reel to post. I'll post it. I might engage for a bit, and then just put my phone upstairs out the way, put it on Do Not Disturb, and then spend the rest of the day just being present with my partner or whatever.
Definitely. I think from when we worked together for quite a lot. We probably worked together for probably 2 months. Consistently, should I say. And now the relationship's changed a little bit. It's more like I'd say we're more on a progressive basis. Like our relationship's a little bit different. Since then, I don't ever go on my phone before I go to bed, and I don't ever go on my phone in the morning. And if I'm with someone, especially somebody that I really love and care about, and somebody that I've actually got things to talk about, I never ever go on my phone. But there is still times where I go on my phone. I just try and keep it to a minimum.
Yeah.
And it does have a massive effect on you.
Definitely.
Even times like when you're just going for a walk and stuff like that, I think like previously I'd be on my phone doing things like that, but you're not taking in the real benefits of what you're doing, are you? If you're just on your phone doing that.
I went on holiday for my dad's 60th in February, and there was me, Amy, my brother, his wife, 2 kids, my 2 stepbrothers and their partners, my dad and his wife. And I'm going to say it sound tight as fuck when I say this. You had to pay for the Wi-Fi and you had to pay for data.
No.
So I just didn't go on my phone. I think my screen time one day was 7 minutes.
That's perfect though, that isn't it?
But it made me feel present. Like my stepbrothers, I don't have anything in common with them. I'm very, very different to both of them.
Yeah.
But because we were present and we were forced to sit and actually have a conversation, you sat there having a conversation and you're like, actually, sound you. Like,
Yeah, you actually like that.
we got on really, really well, despite
Yeah.
how different we are as people and our likes and interests and stuff like that. Because your phone wasn't there as a distraction.
Yeah.
You actually spent the time to get to know somebody. And whether or not you got things in common, you sat and had a conversation and be present, and it's so much more enjoyable.